everybody, and welcome back to the channel here at Global Conquerors, our weekly podcast, Conquest. This is episode 68, being recorded on April 13th, 2025. Your host, SMGFrenzy, joined with your co-host.
You see, as always, this time not on the road, so good to be back home. Yeah, like always, short, sweet, and simple. We're gonna get right into the topic, so I'm gonna throw it over to Mokhtar.
Yeah, we're going to start off with our esports and gaming section, starting off with the League of Legends scene, starting off with LCK. T1 has once again subbed out Guma Yusi for Smash in his role. T1's organization has been going through waves of subbing in players for different roles, and Smash has been an up-and-coming LCKCL player who has been subbed in for Guma most of last split, despite controversy of T1 fans being like, why is Guma not being able to play his role? But Smash is being proven to be a really good player. And they subbed in Smash this week, and he was able to play really well. And obviously T1 unfortunately lost against GenG as expected. But like, Smash has proven himself that he also does deserve the spot. Guma's like, yeah, I will fight for my spot. He's not necessarily pissed that he's getting subbed out. He knows that he hasn't been necessarily on his best game at the moment. So he said he is willingly fighting for a spot. But T1 fans are like, no, why is Guma getting cheated? And then they've been sending trucks to T1 headquarters being like, fire management, put Guma back in, all this stuff. And it's just been a lot of back and forth rifts between the team, their fans, and organization management. So it's a weird spot.
Weird. It's weird because even if their star player, like, obviously is saying that he's not performing well and he understands what's going on, why is that an issue for fans?
Mm-hmm.
He understands he's not playing great, and they're giving an opportunity to see what's going to work. That's what a team player is like. That's what a good leader is, more than anything.
Yeah.
He knows he's not playing great. He knows he has to fight still. This will either help him get better, or it'll just prove like, all right, well, I need a new change. Is it time to retire? But I mean, he's still young. I mean, it hasn't been playing that long. But yeah, I don't know why T1 fans are tripping. I don't think you're tripping about it. So it's good to see obviously the T1 Academy perform like always.
Yep.
Think about it. T1 Academy taking over someone that came from the T1 Academy. I mean, it's just a cycle.
No, legitimately. I don't know. I feel like fans are overreacting.
Yeah.
I get that you want to see Guma because he has been on the World Championship roster for the past 3 years and has been proven to be a great player, but just this split is not his best. So subbing in Smash, who also is showcasing very good promise and has been proven to be a player just as good as Guma, if not at times better, I feel like it's fine that they sub him in. But yeah, there's a lot of rift between the teams. Also, you are like lagging on your end if you can't tell. Oh boy. Anywho, to continue on from T1 and League, we're going to talk about also the League of the Americas, specifically League of the Americas North, formerly the LCS, has been having some major viewership issues. We see that the start of the spring split for the LTA is currently lagging almost by 50% compared to the spring split of the LCS last season, with about half the viewers. Some of the games only max out at 49k, which is like on par for like really low level esports leagues. And now, like, diehard fans and analysts of the LTA, formerly LCS, are now calling out the league for a lack of advertising, a lack of hype building up, shrinking the amount of teams from 10 to 8. There's just been a lot of problems, and admittedly, even me and myself have not been watching the LTA ever since the rebrand. So there just isn't the same love and culture to it, and also to the fact that this is the only league in the world that is doing best of ones for League, which are really boring. So, like, it seems like nobody is having fun watching this now. And everybody's moving now either to like LTA South or like over to like the LEC. Obviously, people are still watching the LCK because they just broke viewership records recently with T1 versus Hanwha Life and stuff like that. So like, North American League seems like they're on a speed run to just end their league right now, which is really unfortunate. And I don't know what they could do to fix it besides first going back to previous branding, putting more hype into it, trying to like build up personality, because right now it seems like we don't have any of that.
I mean, I don't know why they changed that. That's the only one that changed out of all of them, right?
Yeah, recently, yeah.
So yeah, it looks like I don't know if this is like the way for them to kill off NA region of League of Legends. It's bad. I mean, I haven't been keeping up, but I bet like randomly League of Legends stuff will come up and stuff like that, and they're not doing great as. And obviously, if they're just best of ones, right?
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to watch it because you get you watch your team either get win or get smoked,
Yep.
and that's it. You don't see them play until the next time. You don't get to see a full series
Yep.
because obviously some players take a second to like warm up. Doesn't matter what type of game it is you're playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks that they're doing all that and that without. I The only way they can fix it, like you said, they just revert back or I mean they just gotta do something because NA the NA is a big part of I guess their culture now, and to see it just not it looks like they don't care for it no much.
Hmm.
They're not trying, and it's weird. But I if this is just the if this is what they're gonna try to do, they should just revert back to the original, which was working in. It was just more league was being played in other regions besides the LCK,
Yep.
and NA's always usually been playing better than most of your recently. So we'll see, we'll see. I think they'll revert back
Hmm.
or do something about it. I don't think they're gonna. They got they're. I don't think. Obviously, I don't think Riot's gonna let this just not do anything when they know it's a criticism. Sorry,
You're good.
the criticism that they're receiving for this. Obviously, Riot is very well known for listening to the audience. I'm guessing they'll either fix it or do something to make people want to watch it more next year. Well,
Yeah.
I think this year was like just throw it up in the air type of deal.
Hmm.
We'll
Uh,
see.
I mean, like I said, I personally hope they go back to the LCS and separate the two regions again. Even the South American region doesn't want to be with us. They don't watch our league. We don't watch theirs, despite the merger. And there's just no hype built in the LTA brand. You threw away a brand that's been here for over a decade for something that nobody asked for. Of course, a lot of the fans aren't who don't pay attention to League like weekly are not going to realize, oh, this is the same thing. They're not going to jump on when they see LTA live because they don't see LCS live. There's just so much that they've thrown away, so much goodwill that they've thrown away that I personally hope they get rid of the LCA and bring back the LCS. That's my main thing. Go back to 10 teams. Best of threes minimum. No best of ones anymore. Help build up a storyline for these teams that are up and coming with new players that are good, clearly, because like you said, they are being able to hit toe to toe with European players. One team FlyQuest went toe to toe with GenG and almost eliminated them. Like, bro, we have a good region of like players now, but like actually help cultivate them to actually being personalities and stars as well to bring your league back viewership. But we'll see what happens on that end, honestly. But we'll hop over to Team Envy, who has just signed former Halo Pro and now content creator Miquin as now a content creator for Envy. Obviously, Miquin will be streaming different FPSs, probably Halo, Apex, whatnot. Fun to see his name on Envy again after all these years, but some things come full circle, I suppose.
It's crazy because he just completed last year, and I think he played 1 year and retired.
Yep.
No,
It's just funny how it turns
it's
out.
no, it is funny how it turns out. He said, "Yeah, this is not for me." Um, I mean, at least he ended up somewhere. Not most people ended up, when they return to gaming and stuff like that after like developing a game.
Yep.
Usually, they don't go back and try to compete again. And I could tell he didn't. That wasn't his drive anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so he just said, "Well, it's good that he found something that he wanted to do." So
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, glad to see that he's back on Envy again. So we'll see how his content creator career goes off on that end. We move over to 100 Thieves, which is just signed, which is what they didn't sign, but they are teasing that they're going to enter the fighting game scene, especially on like Capcom Fighters, which is the league that has different Capcom games like Marvel vs. Capcom and whatnot. So cool to see Team Envy investing not just into FPSs but also the FGC, which is a scene that has been fairly stable since esports has been a thing. So fun on that end.
100 Thieves, right? You said 100 Thieves, right?
100 Thieves,
No,
yeah.
Envy?
100 Thieves. Envy already signed some like FGC people when they. I think that was one of the first few people that they signed when they came back. So, yep. And then, what's up?
Not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like esports are still trying to grow in parts of their game
Yeah.
or in their business aspect more out. So it's good to see.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday we had the first gameplay reveal for Marathon, which is Bungie's newest game. It's going to be priced at $70. It will not be a free to play game. This game will not have a campaign or single player mode. It is just a multiplayer game. The game looks fine. I mean, obviously the controversy that there is no like single player or whatnot. So people are a bit peeved on that end because that seems to be a dying thing in the gaming industry. But
Well, let's be honest. If you pay $70 for a game, man, it's only gonna be one to play. You might as well just make it free, right?
that's why most of those games have been free recently, which is the thing. So it is surprising that at least in the modern gaming world that they are doing this.
I think in modern day gaming, like multiplayer or player versus player should be a free to play aspect, and then if you're playing a storytelling game,
Yeah.
that should be paid, and it shouldn't be $70.
Yeah. It's weird. And also, like, if you watch the trailer, the game doesn't look amazing. It looks okay. And the fact that this game that's been hyped just looks okay has me slightly worried for actual gameplay when people get their hands on it for the alpha and beta.
But it's Bungie, dude.
Conquerors was also Bungie. That thing died real damn fast. Like,
okay, but let's talk about the good things Bungie's made.
when was the last time Bungie made a good thing?
Halo?
Exactly. That was almost 20 years
that?
ago. That was Halo Reach was the last Halo they made 15 years ago. And that was also one of the most controversial Halos that came out because people loved it, but people hated it because it had sprint.
And guess what we do now? We run, slide.
I'm just saying, Bungie's last game was one of their most controversial games.
But they got not Titanfall. What's that game everybody's playing? It's oh my god, they made a second game of it too.
Destiny?
Destiny, there you go.
Bro, no one talks about Destiny.
No, they don't.
That game fell off hard. But yeah.
I guess.
But the Bungie from 2008 is not the Bungie of 2025, so I don't have super high hopes for Marathon. I like it might just be fine. I think it'll just be okay. But I have no high hopes.
I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this until you just said it.
Oh damn!
See, I looked at the notes there.
Exactly. They're not doing a good job of getting it out there. But to move away from Bungie Halo, we're gonna move to Halo, where out of nowhere, Korean super team GenG signs a Halo roster. This was the last organization I thought would be announcing a Halo roster, because even Envy hasn't announced one yet, and we're pretty sure they have one. But GenG has signed the team of King Nick, Rhino, Breakshot, and Common, with Coach William Sunzal. So this is a pretty decent team, top 6, top 7 team. People are very confused that GenG of all people are the ones entering Halo, because this is like a big org, you know? And they're not necessarily known for being like in shooters. So the fact that they're entering Halo, especially in what may be Halo Infinite's last year, we wonder if they're trying to get like good relations with 343 going into the next Halo. 343. Sorry, Halo Studios. 343 doesn't exist anymore. With Halo Studios into the next Halo. So big. I mean, it is big news, and it shows that the Halo scene actually is still surprisingly healthy. If you can still hold your optics, your phases, your Cloud9s, which has like an okay team, your GenGs, potentially your Envies, your Shopifys. Halo still has all the big orgs plus more. So
yeah, they're still not trying their hardest to make it.
Which is weird, because like when Halo 5 was at this point, all the big teams were leaving. Halo Infinite at this point, all the big teams are still joining. So I mean, we're in a great spot. I'm excited.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's weird though. I thought GenG would have picked up a better roster, because you know how powerhouse the name they got.
Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
It's a move that they made. I'm not sure exactly why they made the move, but we'll see if they stuck around Halo after this year, I think is what will give the perception. But we'll see. GenG's a team that has so many resources, clearly, as we've seen with the LCK and all the other games that they're in. So we'll see what they do. But GenG, North American esports, is not something you usually see. Not really at all. What?
the next topic.
Oh, the next topic is, back in COD, the Vegas Falcons have finally won a series! Now, the unfortunate part is that the series that they won was against Optic Gaming of all people. Out of every damn team the Falcons could have beaten, they beat Optic. And they didn't just beat them, like, in a close series. They smoked Optic 3-1. Congrats to the Falcons, especially for Xnid for finally winning a game. Especially
Well,
against
happy for
Optic.
him to
Bro
anybody.
was hyped. The way he got up after winning. Props to him. Best Saudi
Bro.
player in all of COD.
Bro, his first league win is against the most known esports org in history. I would be hyped too.
But
Dude, the storyline behind that, dude.
the
Craig getting
emotions.
dropped.
The emotions. COD fans are so happy for Falcons, but COD fans are so pissed at Optic right now. Like, congrats to beating Optic, but also Optic, what the hell was that? You have a superstar lineup. You've made like 4 roster changes since the season started, and somehow it just keeps getting worse. This Optic team, this is the first year I think in 2 years that I've actually been following COD consistently, and I feel embarrassed to call myself an Optic fan because this is just bad. I have never seen the boys in blue look this bad since EG beat them back 6 years ago. This is like unfortunate bad because they have players that should be like good. This should be a top 3 Optic team.
To know that there's a chance Optic might not even make champs is what concerns me the most.
But they don't look like they're trying. They look like they've already given up.
They just made a roster changes.
Yeah, and they already look like they've given up.
Well, we know this team ain't second. Dude, the team they have now is like the most random team I've ever seen.
Or you think they change
Like-
after this major too? For
They're
who?
gonna change that. No, if they drop Pook, that'd just be for gays. Something else needs to change.
What if they drop Shotzi?
He'll go to Halo.
But who can Optic pick
let's
up
just
at
say,
this point?
If Formal retires, Shotzi will most likely go play Halo again on Optic.
Formal's not
And
retiring to the end of Halo season though.
Exactly. They'll end at the same time, and then because Shotzi wants to play for Optic, he won't want to leave. And if an opportunity like this opens up for him, bro, imagine Shotzi joins that Halo team right now from Formal. That team is not losing anything.
Yeah, but that means Optic in COD right now will just have to basically give up this year and do nothing. Bad vibes, lose every tournament, get Elam before they can even get into the playoff bracket. Like, what are you doing?
They gotta convince Comp to come back.
I don't think that's... I don't know. This is... The 1 year that I decided to be an Optic fan is the 1 year that Optic sucks.
Dude, maybe you have a problem with liking the team and they suck.
I know.
Start liking teams because once they like them, they start being terrible.
Hey, the only team I like and they get better is T1. I've been gassing these guys.
Not recently.
No, the past 2 years they've been back-to-back world champs, and I was like diehard liking T1.
What about the 1 year they went to Worlds and they choked it?
That was the
Like,
first year that I was
hard.
like super fan of them, and they lost hard, and you saw me cry. But like,
I heard you curse for the first time in my life.
funny how that plays out. But yeah, I have a bad habit of I love a team, they just suck. It was the same thing with EG. I was like gassing them, they sucked in Halo, they sucked in COD. But
My
then they'll have
part,
a year where they like pop off and they'll never do it again.
guys, if you have a team, you better hope Mokhtar don't support it. Because if that's the problem, y'all lose everything.
It's unfortunate, but hey, maybe Optic will get better. I don't think they will. I think they're cooked for this year already.
I think they're gonna be. They're just decent for the rest of the year.
Yeah. But I feel like their vibes are now rancid because they lost to Vegas. They've got to be just so pissed. I can't imagine being in that room with them at this point.
I would have been okay if they lost close, but they got smoked.
Yeah. Vegas
would've
never
been
let that win go. Never.
I wouldn't have let that go.
Vegas can go 0-40 for the rest of the year. The fact that they beat Optic, they're never letting that go.
I wouldn't let that go. I'm not gonna let it go even if for the rest of my life. If they don't win if Falcons don't win no more matches for the rest of the year, I'm done. I need a new team. FaZe, you might need to take me over. I might support Atlanta FaZe. Because it looks like it's the only team that can win consistently.
It seems to be the case.
But anyway,
we'll see how the COD season goes. We're going to go over to general news. Start off with Tron Ares, which released a trailer last week. This is the first Tron movie in about over 15 years since Tron Legacy in 2010. Trailer got already 20 million views within the first 2 days. People apparently have been looking for Tron. I have personally been too. Trailer looks great. Obviously, there are some reservations because Jared Leto is the main star and he has some controversies around him. But besides that, like, it visually looks good. The storyline looks like it's going to be good. So hopefully Jared Leto can pull back from his method acting and just be an actor and not tank the Tron franchise. Because I'm excited. People do legitimately seem to be excited.
okay, every movie Jared Leto touches ends up being terrible.
Yeah, but this
Why
is
that?
because he I'm going to do things my way. I'm going to method act and be whatever I want to be, and it's just kind of weird. But the fact that this is Disney, you know how Disney is about their films, especially about a franchise that they bred and born like Tron. So I imagine they had to have reeled them in. I hope. So we'll see, because this movie comes in October anyway, so we'll be able to talk about it in a few months. But again, it visually looks good, and the music's going to be good. So I just hope that the script and Leto are good. We're asking for the bare minimum here.
You're asking for too much, bro.
We'll see how it plays out. But move over from that to Sports World. The MLS made an announcement a few days ago saying that they are having high consideration of aligning the MLS calendar with the international football calendar by the year 2027, which would be the year after the World Cup in North America. So this would mean that the season would start sometime around winter, which has drawn some controversy within some MLS fans here because a lot of the teams are in regions where it snows heavily a lot during the winter, especially if you go north of DC. So teams that are in like the Pacific Northwest, teams that are in New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, teams that are in Canada, they're like, well, now we'll be playing when it's like blizzarding. So they're concerned about the climate during that. But then some people are like, what about teams that are in Norway, teams that are in Russia, teams that are in Japan and Korea? They also play during those times during the winter. Sure, some of them do, of course, have closed stadiums to, prevent that. But this will be both good and bad because it means some adaptation for North American teams, but also it means that now we'll be able to actually insert ourselves into international competition without it disrupting our schedule. So, I mean, I think it's mostly a good change. I get the concerns. I mean, what do you think as someone who also watches international and domestic soccer? What do you think?
I mean, I see it being a good thing because most of these teams end up sending off their best players because that's how they get called up.
Yeah.
Leaving them with like holes in their roster. It makes sense. It does make sense. I mean, you know, imagine you play with this guy for this week and then he's off for the next 2 to 3 weeks because he's in international duty and
Yep.
and it causes the coach to make formations different or change the way he approaches games differently. Obviously, everyone's at a disadvantage no matter what, but still, it's just not something good to. So I see it being a good thing and a bad thing. I think the concept of I think not the concept. The concept's a good idea. I like it because it just makes it'll look like everything will be ran smoother.
Yeah.
And it will prevent less. I think it would prevent less injuries on most players because imagine you go play a regular league match. The next week you're playing two international matches. You come back and you're playing a regular league match. Like you just came through absolute goddamn hell.
Yeah.
So like you said, I see it as a good thing, but the problem could be is like the weathers in certain parts of the states.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, usually the season starts in March, mid March, I think,
Roughly, yeah,
or
usually.
mid March. So it's springtime. We're going into the spring. Um, so the weather's in the middle for mostly everybody at the time. It just depends on how far up north or places you are.
Yeah.
But when everyone's in the winter, everyone's mainly in the cold right now.
Yep.
So there's it's like that's the only problem they'll have. But I hope the MLS is obviously having a meeting with the owners of each team as a reasonable talking about it and see and hear their voices out and just instead of making this decision just by the league itself instead of talking with the owners. That's who they should talk to about that. But yeah.
Yep.
I see it as a good thing. That's probably just the only downside to it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think, yeah, like you said, I think they need to make sure that each owner is okay with this, and if they do go forward with this, to make sure that owners in more northern areas are able to accommodate their players for very wintry conditions. Maybe some stadiums will have to move towards indoor stadiums or put roofs on them or whatnot. But we'll see what happens. They have about 2 years to discuss this. But also, there's one thing I forgot to add on for this. This was the Gold Cup schedule. That will be happening this summer. Each group had their group draw about 2 days ago as of recording. And we're going to talk about each group real quick and talk about who you think will be the favorites. Obviously, this will be the big test for North American teams to see how they're faring going to the World Cup next year. First, we have Group A, which is made up of Mexico, Costa Rica, Suriname, and the Dominican Republic. I think we're expecting Mexico definitely to get out of that group. And besides that, I think it's a three-way toss-up between the other three teams. What's your opinion?
I think it's Mexico and Costa Rica.
Costa Rica? Okay.
Costa Rica's they've always been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know much about the other ones. I mean, they don't, I think because we see more of the other team, like Mexico and Costa Rica, play more often than the other ones. And obviously, most of the time they're playing against each other, so we know what they're capable of. There could be a shocker, but I really do. I think Mexico will top this group with no losses.
Okay.
I think they win all their matches.
Okay. Then we move over to Group B. We have Canada, Honduras, El Salvador, and Curacao. Obviously, we expect Canada also to make it out of this group. Besides that, I think you're thinking El Salvador ain't getting out of this group, are they?
They ain't getting out of that group, bro. It's either Honduras, bro.
Honduras.
Most likely Honduras.
Yeah.
Unless, look, unless something happens where they decided to actually turn up for for this, but it's most likely gonna just be Canada and Honduras.
And Honduras, yeah, that seems about right. We move over to Group C. We have Panama, Jamaica, Guatemala, and Guadeloupe. I think we expect Panama and Jamaica to make it out of that group.
Maybe. Oh no, Jamaica.
I think Panama for sure. Jamaica, I think, is also strong.
Yeah, strong.
Yeah.
The only reason, the reason why people don't think Jamaica's not gonna be good is because of what happened to them at the last World Cup. But the problem was a bunch of European clubs did not send their best players. I think there's a whole thing about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Jamaica didn't perform well at the World Cup, they usually do good all the time.
Yeah.
And the reason why they didn't, because I'm hearing that a bunch of European clubs or the Pros club wouldn't allow them to go travel there.
Yeah.
Due to the time, because the World Cup was in December instead of the usual July, June, right?
Yeah.
Or June. Why do I say stuff backwards? June, July, not July, June. Obviously, it's the same. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm expecting Jamaica to do. I think I'm expecting Jamaica to top the group.
Okay, we'll see about that one. I mean, we'll figure out in a few months. And then for the final group, Group D, which funnily enough is the most competitive group. United States, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and the invitational team, Saudi Arabia. Last time it was Qatar to pass for invitational, now Saudi Arabia. Now, presumably, you would assume United States gets out of this group. But Haiti has proven that they can take down the United States. Trinidad and Tobago have proven that they can take down the United States. And Saudi Arabia at the last World Cup was actually a pretty damn good team. So it would be really funny and really sad if the United
I think
States.
USA will end up on the bottom of this group.
Oh,
I don't think they
God.
make it out.
You
No
know-
offense, but from what it looks like, and if you would, USA should be dominating ball because of the coach they got now.
Yeah.
This coach led Chelsea to the Champions League.
Yep.
He won the Champions League with them. He had Christian Pulisic on his team. He has him again.
Yep.
What more do you want? No, I don't. If USA make it out, it'd be barely making it out. I think they'll finish second. I don't. If not, they'll finish last.
I feel like if the US can't finish top of this group, our World Cup chances next year are already cooked. Because this is the one year that we should be like trying hard, considering we are the host. We don't even have to qualify. But if we can't even like easily beat teams within our region, especially teams like this, we might as well already give up next year. I'm about to sell my US jersey already that I just got last year when we lost to that World Cup, the Copa America game that I watched with you. So like, I'm cooked. I'm done. I'm supporting France again. Forget that.
I'm like, bro, think about it. USA proved a lot at the World Cup, the previous World Cup.
Yeah.
They went toe to toe with Netherlands. I think who they beat. England, right? Or they tied with England?
I think we tied with England.
They barely lost to Netherlands. I mean, that was like, damn. USA have a chance. They just gotta build off this. Motherfuckers suck, dude. They suck.
We're a country that when we go to the Olympics, we dominate because we have resources. There is no excuse that the world's largest sport that we should suck this bad every time. We have the money, we have the facilities, we have the money to poach coaches from anywhere in the world to develop our talent, homegrown talent, to be some of the best. We have a rising league, domestic league, that is becoming increasingly competitive with leagues that are in the Premier League, in like League America, in the Superliga, with League One, with the Bundesliga, and then we still can't play ball with England, with France, with Australia, with Japan, with Mexico, with Canada. What's happening? What are we doing?
The problem is Mexico just found out how good they could actually be now. Recently, I mean, like, dude, if look, Mexico and Canada have seemed to have improved a lot.
Yeah.
While USA has not gotten better. I feel like they've gotten worse.
We shouldn't, though, because I mean this by no offense. I have the Senegal flag right here. Senegal is a country that does not have the resources that France or the US has, yet they always finish top 10 in the World Cup. Consistently.
They play with passion, dude. You don't understand. That the USA don't got that. They have the red, white, and blue, and that's it. They don't got no passion. And the reason why France is good, well, we goddamn superstars over there, goddamn.
But they're breeding players that are able to play competitively in the domestic leagues around the world, and then come home to play for their team and dominate every year. Same with Argentina.
You wanna know who? I'm gonna be honest with you. You know who I think is gonna win the World Cup next year?
Who?
Spain.
Spain? Yeah.
Spain has dominated everybody. We'll figure out once. When is that Argentina versus Spain game gonna play? They're supposed to play each other still.
Let me check.
That will if Spain win that game like convincingly, there's no way Spain don't win the World Cup because they're full of young dudes, and they have arguably soon to be the best player in the world on that team now. Yo, Lamar, bro. That's a generational talent that we haven't seen since Messi.
Mm.
You thought Mbappe is a great player.
He's still great, yeah.
But Lamar is a generational talent that only comes once so often. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. And to add on, the Argentina versus Spain game apparently is supposed to take place next year in March.
Before the World Cup.
Yeah.
Think about it. And Spain's team is so young.
Well, they're developing homegrown talent in a very productive way. America isn't doing that. We just aren't.
Well, let's just hope them moving to Atlanta makes something different.
I hope so, genuinely. They have a year to get their act together. We can't go out so early when we're freaking hosting it.
They better be. They have to finish in the top 3 to prove that they belong.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We genuinely will see. But we've hit our cap runtime, so I'm going to let you close it out.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, I've been your host, co-host, AssassinADC, with my co-host, SMGFrenzy. I got a cramp. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you know when we upload. Be on the lookouts for videos. Hopefully, I'm trying my hardest, but right now it's probably the most stressful time of the year for everybody with tax seasons and stuff. So we've been trying to get our stuff together and act together and do what you gotta do to do what you gotta do. But that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.